Okay, thanks very much. Let's move on to your next wine.
Yeah, okay. So next wine is our 2020 Pinot Noir. When we started this project, if you like, with in 2009, I mean, the aim was obviously to try and get to a decent red wine, which in England at that time was not a possibility. But we were gradually creeping towards it. And we had our first foray with a Precos, an early ripening Pinot, which we had some success with. I think we did 2 iterations of that. And that proved to be very successful. And then we did actually hit upon a Pinot Noir, and this is our, I think, second or third vintage of this. So this is our second. So it's our Pinot Noir 2020. It's made from 3 clones. So it's from the FR 1801, the 105S, and the GM1 clone. So it's a nice mixture there. On the nose, I mean, it's got a very strong red berry and sort of stewed fruit cherry nose to it. And then on the palate, obviously you've got some cranberry. Some people are saying there's probably I don't know, so a hint of chocolate or something in there. But it's a wine that we had in oak, had it on 2-year-old oak for 6 months. So that obviously provides some certain elements to it. But overall, it's to us, once again, it's just a really well balanced, cool climate Pinot, which we've been really pleased with.
Yeah, it's very pleasing and really smooth. Some really nice like raspberry texture in there. It's nice to have that little bit of sweetness, but a bit more of the like bitter depthness, which makes, which helps balance out the wine.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice drying as well on the tongue. But yeah, it's a good fruit content, pleasing finish. But also something that I really enjoy in some of the red wines, and this has it, is when you get like sweet beetroot, because you have this slightly earthiness, but then it's about having the texture and the depth and the body, and then the sweetness of the beetroot. And I got that on the palate with this, which is lovely.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right though. There is an earthiness there.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes with Pinot Noir, it's a sort of a mushroom earthiness, but yeah, beetroot's quite a good description of that. But, so I mean, these grapes are well sought after from our field 7. In fact, Lime Bay take this combination, and they have made a Pinot Noir, which is actually carries our name on the front label. So it's a Martin's Lane Pinot Noir, as they have done with the Chardonnay, in fact. So we've got 2 wines with Lime Bay, both with Martin's Lane actually on the front. So
they did a single vineyard range of 3, and 2 of those are ours. That's these ones here. So that's the Pinot Noir. And the Chardonnay they produced actually won a gold at the International Wine Challenge, and then went on to win a trophy as well. So we're really pleased that they produced that with the grapes that we provide them. So yeah, the Pinot Noir is the same as this one. The grapes have come from the same field. It's just obviously a different way of making wine with Sarah Massey down in at Lime Bay. But yeah, we're really pleased with this. It's a beautiful traditional Pinot Noir colour. Lovely sort of raspberry colour there as well. Really beautiful wine. It's very popular.
I can see why. It's very pleasing, and it's an easy wine to drink because it's very soft and smooth, and without the sort of biting acidity that sometimes, perhaps, presuming if the fruit is underripe, but not in this case. It's it's a very pleasing, rewarding, cool climate Pinot to have.
I mean, that's the balance you want, isn't it? I mean, if there's no acidity in there at all, then it's not very lively. But this has got balance just enough, and so it keeps it in that lively feel. But once again, it's just quite moorish. But I find that with all of those, I don't know whether I've got a problem or whether they're just good wines. But yeah, it's yeah, I think it's, you know, that's what we've been striving for in the real high quality of the fruit, the natural sugars, no messing around, no chaptalization, and just really good winemaking. And you know, that's the thing we stuck to. I mean, we grow Bacchus, and we don't make Bacchus. Other people make really good Bacchus, but we've gone down the route of these classics, and we don't really see a need for us to enter the market with another Bacchus. You know, we're sort of sticking to our knitting, if you like. This is our stuff that we know we're good at. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So do you have how much of your vineyard is Bacchus?
Not very much. We've got one field of Bacchus.
About 4 acres.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 acres of Bacchus. Yeah.
Okay, so and the majority is all of these other varieties.
Yeah, well, yeah, with the exception of we have a field of Pinot Gris, and we make a Pinot Gris and a Pinot Grigio. And as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're the only UK company that makes a Grigio. So both the Grigio and the Gris are made from exactly the same grapes, from exactly the same vines. The difference is the way in which they're treated and the yeasts that are used. So for the Grigio, we use an Italian Trentino yeast, and for the Gris, we use the Alsace yeast. And they're two totally different wines. I mean, when we run wine tours, you put the two side by side, and they are totally different wines, and yet they're exactly the same grape. It's quite phenomenal. But yeah, so with the exception of that and the 5 acres of Bacchus, the rest of it is Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, and some Pinot Noir Précoce, most of which is taken by our friends up at Flint Vineyard in Norfolk.
Okay.
So yeah, so I mean, the vast majority of what we produce, we sell off to predominantly to Lyme Bay, to Flint. Litmus have some, and Freedom of the Press down in Oxford, Gavin Carver makes wine with ours. And then there are a couple of other urban wineries this year who have come on board and taken grapes. And again, you know, the fruit this year overall wasn't at the standard it should be, but people who were taking ours for the first time were saying that, you know, this is the best fruit available. So some of the really good fruit around. So once again, which is, you know, it shows we're doing the right sort of things.
And there's more and more vineyards opening up in the Crouch Valley as well. You know, there's some across the other side of the river, Riverview Crouch Valley, and Duncan, our vineyard manager, he has a vineyard of his own as well, because he obviously realizes it's good to grow grapes. Yeah, there's a big American company who've bought some land alongside the river as well. They've bought 60 acres, so that will be an interesting plot to watch and see what they can do with that. They're quite a well-known company. So yeah, it's all growing. We apparently, I don't know whether we still are, but we were the area with the largest number of vineyards per square mile within the area across the whole country. So there was something like 28 vineyards within a very short sort of space of distance area. Yeah, so it's certainly the area that seems to be a really good area for growing grapes, and we obviously know that for sure with ours.
We just go back to this for a moment. We actually have got our Chardonnay, this Pinot Noir, and our Pinot Grigio are sold at Fortnum and Mason, because when Fortnum's were doing their trawl around to look for putting English wines on, they actually picked 4 of our wines to go on. Those 3 and the Pinot Noir Blanc de Noir, which wasn't available at the time we were signing the contract. So we may revisit that with them, but we've had a contract with them for about 4 years now, and yeah, they're very pleased with the results that we're producing. So that's good.
So what do you see is coming next than for Martin Lane's? What was Martin's Lane? What's your plans?
Well, initially, something sort of quite exciting is coming along in April. It's a little bit poignant, really, because when Caroline and I were on holiday last June, I had an email from Roy, who said he had just had a note from John Voronchek about our 2022 Pinot Noir. Now, 2022 Pinot Noir we're doing as a joint venture with John. He's having half, he's making it all, he's having half, we're having half. And he said the note from John Voronchek, who is a great winemaker, was that he had tasted the batch, and this was the best Pinot he tasted in 40 years. Unfortunately, a week later, Roy died. So this wine, which he did taste very early on in the barrel, we have decided to dedicate to him. So we're bringing that out as the Founders Vintage in April. So we'll have a run of 1,100 bottles of the Founders Vintage, and the Litmus wines will also have theirs, which they are called Roy Martin. So which I think is a nice dedication for both to him and to his work. So that's our immediate plan. That we want to get that out to as wide a number of people as possible while it lasts.
Yeah. I mean, our initial focus when we took over the vineyard, the running of the day-to-day stuff last year, was, to carry on the work that Roy had done in building the reputation of the Crouch Valley and Martin's Lane. But he'd been such a big driving force in getting Crouch Valley recognised across the wine industry. So we want to carry that on. We were concentrating last year on getting through the harvest, which was quite challenging due to the weather. But we had help from obviously Duncan and all of our other experts that we have. So we've got through that. Now we're into 2024. So it's looking at what we can do with the grapes for this year, whether we want to make any wines this coming year. A lot of that is whether or not we need to. If it's a really good year, we'll make wine. And if we're running low on any particular stock, then we look at making wine. But we don't make wine every single year of all of our vintages. So we balance that out. We sell approximately 80 to 85% of our grapes to other people, and keep 20% for ourselves in the years that we make 15-20% for ourselves. Yeah. Further down the track.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because we're fully planted now. So, some people have said to us, Sauvignon Blanc seems to be the thing to be growing now. Well, that's great, but it means ripping up some of the vineyard and spending 3 or 4 years waiting for that to come on. And, we're a fairly small operation, so we have to cut our cloth accordingly. What I want to see is that more recognition from those other wine producers that our grapes are the top quality grapes to be sought after, and I mean that is definitely happening. And for us to make these really good wines, so that we get the sort of reaction that I think we got from yourself, which is that that's quite surprising for an English wine. There are some unexpected things in there. They're quite grown up. They're quite elegant, and to maintain that stable of 7 or 8 really good wines going forward in the good vintages.
I think that's a great plan, and based on what we've had today, I can't see that being an issue for you guys.
Well, I mean, having said we haven't had a frost event in 13 years, then who knows?
We'll probably go on this year.
Given the way the weather goes, who knows? But
it is England, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we just have to obviously cut our cloth accordingly. I mean, yes, it would be nice to expand, to buy another few acres, and to plant something else. I mean, Roy was actually experimenting with some vines up at the vineyard, so we know that. I mean, he was planting some various things in Cabernet Franc. He planted up there, which has taken some Riesling. So he was a bit of a Renaissance man in terms of, you know, having a look at what could happen. And I think he had the foresight to see that that's an area that's going to be really good for still wine for many years to come, no matter what the varieties are, given the right climate conditions, obviously. But you know, there are things there which 10 years ago you wouldn't have even thought of growing, but it looks as though there are possibilities. So so to whoever comes after us, I mean, yes, it would be great to say let's expand the thing, but some of us are getting a bit too old to do that now. So and I don't think our kids want to take it on. So we'll see what other people want to do. But in the meantime, you know, our main concern was continuity of business and keeping everything running. And I have to say that, you know, both our suppliers and the people that we supply and the people that help us were really understanding during that period, and you know, helps us a lot to actually establish ourselves. And you know, so it's you know, that's a loose sort of team, but they're really important people, and without them, you know, we wouldn't have been able to get to this point now, I don't.
No. And Roy's family, Roy's daughter, obviously they live in Australia. They had they'd come over to England, obviously, for when Roy passed away, and they did a huge amount to help get through the paperwork and everything that you need to do when somebody passes away, so that we could carry on with that when she went back to Australia. So we're kind of
a lot of help,
in constant contact with them and with the other partners, just to make sure that we're all on the same page and we're following the path that Roy had originally intended. Modernizing a little bit along the way. Roy was very
old school,
a traditional man, but yeah, you know, we're making good progress, I think. So.
Well, the wines certainly show it. Thank you. It's been thoroughly pleasurable. I'm glad your wine's are live on the website, and we've already made some sales, so we'll keep it up. And yeah, I can't wait to see what comes. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Guy.
Good
Thank you, and good luck with the sales. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.